Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is the Fat Viking Knight, as always, coming to you from another hardcore totemless episode here. And I think I messed up my intro. I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna just roll with it and keep on going. We don't do a second take if we mess up our intro. No, we just go and stand and deliver with the first one and then dig deeper because we are holding it down. Anyway, hope everyone is having a fantastic day today. At the time of the recording, it is currently Thursday, and obviously this will be up on the Sunday. I have fallen out of the whole do things in advance thing, and I would like to kind of get back to that. Like, I really should sit down and make a few episodes so that I can kind of take my time and add a little bit more content and everything like that to the further episodes. I think it would be very beneficial for me and just an all-around good time. But today I want to talk to you a little bit about what's going on with me. I am in a vague state of wanting to renew my identity, as well as trying to grasp at straws a bit, try to find more things that are my passion, and to overall improve certain aspects of my life, just because that's how I go. That's how I work. I always strive for improvement in myself, no matter what it is that I'm trying to achieve or accomplish. I strive for achievement. I strive to be better than I was I strive to be better than I was yesterday, I guess, is really what it comes down to and what it boils into. And it's a little thing, right? But if you improve every single day, just a tiny fraction of a percent, then maybe over the course of a whole year, you've improved a whole or a couple percent, which is not nothing, right? I have learned this throughout, and as I continue to try and be a more effective leader and try to be a better leader, at least in my book, I have found that these minor improvements make a world of freaking difference, and you might not be able to notice them for 6 months to a year. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. I want you to just know that that is such a valuable piece. Everyone, I believe, should take that to heart in at least a little bit. What I mean by that is you should try to improve in whatever it is that you want to do. Obviously, I'm not counting anything illegal. I'm not counting anything of that nature or volition. I'm simply counting striving to be better in your life, better than you were yesterday, right? And I know other people will see that, hear that, and take it and be way too literal with it, and that is not what I'm doing. I simply advocate for people to do their best and to continue to grow and learn throughout their entire life. In any event, if you stop learning, if you stop trying to be better, I think you've failed. At least in my personal opinion, I believe you've failed. If you continue to learn, then you at least have achieved something, right? Some kind of variety that allows you to go through life and see it with different lenses at each and every stage of your life. Makes it really kind of nice and a weird way to look at life, but also such a valuable one. I am currently learning Spanish for the second time. I took a couple years of it in high school, 3, I think, or 4. And I took those in high school, and I don't remember very much. So now I'm actually taking the initiative to try to learn it. Not because I need it for a job. Not because I don't know. I want to effectively communicate with everyone that I meet. And in my area, a lot of people speak Spanish. So I would like to be able to have a conversation with people out in the wild and just kind of advocate for learning and trying to do a little bit better. It's very, very difficult for me to constantly try to be better. It puts this unnecessary strain on me and probably everyone else that tries to do it. But I think it is just so, so valuable in my life. So I've recently started learning how to play Path of Exile 2. And I started it on hardcore mode, and I've just been having fun with the hardcore mode, and it's pretty cool. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it is a good time, in my opinion. Even if I have no idea what I've been doing, and I have died many, many times along the way. I try a little bit harder every time to learn a trick or two or learn something about editing. And I try to just do my best with all of the different aspects of my life. I constantly am pushing myself in the direction of books to read, and whether it be motivational leadership or personal or professional, anger management, whatever. I just am constantly listening to books and trying to figure out what I really want to do with all of this knowledge and what I want to do in this particular life for myself. I currently am at what I would consider probably maybe the third mark or the quarter mark, depending on how optimistic you want to be, I guess. And based on that, I don't think it is too late for me to want to start over, to want to learn a vast amount of different things and try my best to just put positive energy out in the world, and maybe some positive energy comes back. I know, it's kind of weird, but I really think that needs to be more of a thing. No ulterior motive behind it, no progression behind it, simply wanting to do it so that you can see the world as a whole try to transform even a little bit, because I think it would make a long and lasting difference, and I want to see that. I really, really do. I don't 100% know what has gotten into me lately. I don't know if it's because I have and had depression for a very long time, and I'm just trying to dig myself out of it or whatever. But I just understand a little bit more every single day that although it is not a choice, it is, what many people classify as an illness, and one that not many people want to talk about to begin with. I believe there are minor choices that you can make with it to try and sway how you feel a little bit. I'm not saying you can do it enough to just, oh, guess what? I don't have depression anymore. Not saying that, because that is definitely not a thing. You can't just, flip a switch and cure it via positivity. That's not something that can happen. Can't do it. It's not possible to do. And that is, way out of the realm of possibility. However, I do believe how you are willing to look at life can impact your ability to get through it and your ability to want to see better. I also believe it kind of sways and changes your personality, though. For me, it's presented itself in I am trying to be a more positive person, generally speaking, even though that's not something that I've ever really been able to do, and I just haven't. I just have tried, and it's not something that I have been able to do by far, but it is something that I'm currently trying to do with intent and with hope that it does at least bring me a little bit of solace knowing that there are still things that I can control, even if I can't control when the depression's going to kick in, how badly it's going to kick in, and the after effects of that. But I can control how I am dealing with it, and that's really what this comes down to. I am just changing how my perspective works and changing it hopefully for the better. Because let me be completely honest and vulnerable with you here. I try as much as I can to be, but um, I don't make friends very easily. And I think that's part of it because I always am so negative fighting battles that no one else knows exists. I'm so like in my head and just trapped in a moment of survival versus trying to, make friends and trying to be a social person in the world, even though I am extremely introverted. Extremely. But I just try to push myself out there to see maybe we can make things work. And I'm trying. It is a thing that has come to my attention recently because I needed help. Like I wanted to reach out basically, and all the people in my phone that I could have reached out to, I basically chose not to. Simply due to the fact that I feel like a broken record with how much I have talked about depression, and I'll continue to advocate and talk about treatment and talk about how it affects people and all of those things. I will continue to do that because I believe in it very strongly. However, I've talked to so many people about it, and if you don't have it, right, it is very hard for people to put their shoes on your feet, or your shoes on their feet. Yes, it's very hard to switch places and see it from an entirely different perspective. Simply because it's something that goes on in your mind, and it's something that you think about with regards to just about everything. Oh, does this person like me? Do I care? Oh, did I offend this person? The list goes on and on and on about things that you may or may not be able to control, but things that you are likely to think about at some point in your life. Even for me, who I don't really care what people think of me, for example, which is why I continue to hop on the same train, try to just do what I want to do instead of what I know would perform a lot better. Just as one kind example here. And I truly believe that it's possible, right? It is all completely possible. And I want to make it work. But I don't know how. It's not like, as a kid, you want to make friends? Really easy. If you give me your cookie, I'll be your best friend, right? Or if you draw me, I'll be your best friend, or whatever. It's not that simple in adult life, and I wish that it was. I don't really know how to explain that, but I wish that it was a little bit simpler to meet like-minded people and to become friends with like-minded people in 2025 here, because it's extremely challenging and draining for me. I feel like I can't just be myself from the get-go because I'm a weird and crude and blunt person. So I have to withdraw some of myself, try a little bit harder to hide some of myself until I get more comfortable with them, and then, let it fly. But I need to get over that state of mind as well. I need to stop giving a shit and bending to the societal norms and just focus on being the me that I know how to be, regardless of if people are not like me, which is fine if they do not. It's fine if they do. Doesn't matter to me. But what I do believe is that it is a lot of effort on my part And I just would love it to be a simpler process. I had this idea the other day, and that may or may not be because sometimes I'm a bit dumb and don't realize the things and repercussions for actions that I may have. But I was thinking the other day, what if I just were to like knock on someone's door who I think we would be like compatible with? And then I was like, well, they'd probably call the cops on me, one. Two, that's really not how you make friends, right? It's not how you meet people, by like forcing yourself in. Even if it's not really a force, if it's like a trying to get your foot in the door kind of thing, I don't know. But at work, I feel I talk to everyone. It's very easy to talk to everyone. However, it doesn't really journey outside of work with most of them. I think there's been a few that has emerged, and we're able to communicate and still hang out after work. But for the most part, I'm not meeting friends at work. I'm not meeting new people to become friends with work because I'm there to do a job. I'm there to try my best to try to do what I can and try to exceed expectations, both that I've set for myself and that the company has also set for us. Trying to exceed expectations just because I'm competitive as hell and want to win. Whatever it is, no matter the cost, I want to win. And it's very, very odd for me. It really is, because you'd think people at work whom you spend most of your days with, 8+ hours a day with these people, right? You'd think a lot of the time you would be able to become friends relatively simply with the people that you come in contact with. Especially spending, 40 hours plus a week with certain people is an enormous amount of time. That's so much time that you are with them. You are with them most likely more than you are with your own families, and that's crazy. And at work, you can communicate, but also I see a lot of issue with that, and I can't make that transition to simply have people whom I work with that I even want to be friends with. you know? I see the way they work, and it's very hard for me to like separate out the working version of that person with the real life version of that person, because I think almost always are they very, very different things that need to be addressed. Some people might be great workers and terrible off work. Some people the opposite. They are great people outside of work, and outside of work, I could definitely hang out with them. But the fact that I can't communicate with them in work is even a difficult thing for me as well. But it is something that I am learning and trying to get better with. Lately, I have been listening to the audiobook of Extreme Ownership, which is like a Navy SEAL-led book in which they're talking about the concept of extreme leadership, which is basically the leader needs to take responsibility for everything. If your team is not succeeding, guess what? It's your fault. If you didn't make the quota, guess what? It's your fault as the leader. And I really like that idea. And I've been trying to implement that at work as well to try and make it a little bit easier to start with me as the problem. Granted, it has taken a lot of ego checking because I, as a competitive person, I see where there are weaknesses and realize that it is, in fact, my fault. I need to spend more time with the underperformers and more time with the overperformers alike in effort to try and get people to the same level, to elevate their levels. But at the end of the day, if we fail, if things are not looking right, if things just are not the way that they're supposed to be and are not as efficient as they should be, it really truly is my fault because I am the one that is leading the charge on all of these things. But for some reason, it is very extremely difficult to put your ego aside like that. And it's taken me many times. I've had to read the book 2 or 3 times now because, well, not read, listen to, whatever. Just because that concept is very foreign in our modern world. Very, very few people take responsibility for all of their actions and inherently try to blame other people for the mistakes that are being made. And I am also guilty of the same thing, I would say, for sure. I'm guilty of it, and it's been a challenge to try to trick myself into thinking otherwise, that it's their fault instead of it's my fault. I own the responsibility for it, and it's crazy. I know I kind of go all over the place, and that's just because my ADHD brain goes and does this. But I also know that well, staying focused is a very difficult thing for me. And so I jump around from topics to topics, but I also feel that these topics are correlated with each other in some kind of way. What that way is, I couldn't tell you. It's up to the imagination, but I believe them still to be inherently in the same position. And regardless, it's things that I am working on, trying to improve just a little bit every single day. That's where I am going to leave you here today, guys. I want to thank you for letting me vent and just listening to me blab along the way. Each and every one of you that has watched my videos in the past year, you guys are awesome. I appreciate the living hell out of you and truly have no idea what has made you click on the video to begin with, but nevertheless, I appreciate it very much. And if you guys are enjoying, consider subscribing. I don't ask a whole lot, but let's see if it helps, and I'm going to put it out there. So, if you enjoy, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao.